The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Friday, November 11th, 2022, Season 18, Episode number 69. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We're presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It is our job today to get you guys ready for Cowboys versus Packers. That happens this Sunday. And that will be what we do throughout today's show. We got some injury updates. We'll talk a little bit about Mike McCarthy and his return to Green Bay. And then we'll get into some questions. We got lots of questions from our fans. We want to hear from you guys. You can send us text messages. Tweet us during the show if you'd like to do that. You can also call us, 888-855-2297. We'll take calls throughout the show if you have some thoughts or some questions for our crew. Let's start first with some injury updates. Coach McCarthy talked about a few players. Anthony Barr and Jake Ferguson both missed practice yesterday. What are we hearing about them?
Ryan?
I don't have any update on Ferguson.
I don't either.
Yeah, the thing about it, the Ferguson one, I got too late on that one. I was kind of concerned about Zeke and stuff like that. But I'll reach out about the Ferguson one. Maybe I can get that one squared up. That was one that was kind of new to me.
It's an illness. And it sounded like from what was being said that they think he might be okay, but
they've got a lot of everybody's. You lost me for a day. You guys were probably happy about that, but that's the thing.
A lot of people getting like the flu.
That's the thing. I think that's what teams.
About some practice squad players.
Yeah, there's sick. A lot of teams. There's teams in the NBA I know that I've kind of following stuff that are dealing with this, and that's what happens this time of year. So I didn't see it as being a problem where it was a physical tissue injury or knee or something like that. It seemed like to me it was more of a flu thing.
Yeah, it is nose. And they did say he's going to be back.
Yeah, he's going to be back.
Just told me.
Yeah. Yep. So that's a good thing. The Zeke thing, I think Jerry, I know on our station on 105.3 came on and basically was saying that Zeke is going to play, and I was talking to people about that yesterday, and they were just kind of saying it's about the stacking of the days. If you can get him to keep having days, and the day yesterday was better than the day before and stuff like that. So, and all that seemed very, very encouraging as far as news on him.
Yeah, with him, I do think you're starting to kind of figure out, just like they did with James Washington about when to start his window. This is a whole month that you're dealing with, and you've got a really good team coming up here with Minnesota. I think you have a tough game coming up here with Green Bay, but also then you got Minnesota, and then you got the Giants. Yeah. You got to figure all that out and figure out what the best time to do that. I don't know. I don't know if all that is factoring in. They're going to say it doesn't. They're going to say we're only focused on this game, but I don't know if you can do that.
Ironically, I think they have it a little easier this year than they have in past years because usually they've been playing that following game after Thanksgiving. They've been playing that on Thursday night in the last several years.
Right.
This week it's going to be a Sunday. So they get a little mini bye there after Thanksgiving. I think that's even more helpful to them just because it does give them that extra few days there after Thanksgiving rather than a 7, and then you get the 10 days.
As I pointed out on Media Mash, Clarence Hill was saying that. I was like, they've always get the 10 days.
Yes,
but it's not all crammed in.
The point is you get it after Thanksgiving rather than waiting another week before you get that break, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
It was always Thursday night on the road after Thanksgiving, and then come back in 10 days and play the Giants in the Meadowlands. That's typically the way it has been. So that's obviously not the case.
And they got 2 home games after Thanksgiving this time, too. So you got the 10 days. Both the next 2 games are at home with no travel. So it is a little bit
teams
better.
You should smash. I mean, like
you would think so.
You should.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, who knows what happens there with Saturday. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. That's weird. That's a weird situation.
I don't know. I don't know how much coaching factored into what, and we're talking about the Indianapolis coach.
Yeah.
I don't know how much the coach was the problem. So I don't know if changing, even if he was a great coach, I don't know how much that's going to change things. Right now, I think their biggest problem is the quarterback. So I don't know if that's going to change. He can't play quarterback, so
yeah,
we will see.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Anthony Barr. He did not practice. Are we thinking he's not playing this game?
I would say he's out. Yeah, I'd say
he's probably the guy that's most likely to be out of anybody on the.
Yeah, I would say that's the one. It kind of they always talk about the trending, and it wasn't trending the right way for him. Unless something changes today, but I just didn't get the feeling that he was going to be available for you.
Yeah, and it's kind of how we always say on here where it always seems to work itself out when you're looking at a position of and maybe a surplus of guys, and so far you're looking at Damone Clark, Anthony Barr, and Sam Williams, and they play different positions, but kind of all a backup role that's going to factor in somehow, and they haven't had all three of them together at the same time. Last week Barr got hurt. Clark played a lot. Williams was out. This week, Williams should be back. Clark's going to play, and Barr's out. So they haven't had to kind of deal with it, and somebody's going to be a healthy scratch in those three with those three guys. And I should be putting, Fowler could be in that group as well.
Is the expectation that Damone Clark will get his first start?
Does he have to start? Let's see.
You got Leighton. Who else is at linebacker?
Just depends on. Yes, he's going to play. I mean,
yeah.
Technically the starting, McEwen starts games when they go to certain. You know how that works, but I mean, I think he'll be out there. That doesn't mean that he'll start the game. They could start in 3 wide or whatever, but he'll probably play a lot.
Yeah, I think he's going to play quite a bit in this football game. And to me, as we break this thing down even further, I think this is going to be about which team can run the ball better. And which team, the Packers are struggling a little bit at linebacker for some injury problems they're having too. Here you are, with Barr. The Clark last week, or when he got the opportunity to play, I thought that was really good on him. At first he looked a little lost. No, I mean, I shouldn't say lost. I should say that he was, he didn't want to make a mistake. I've seen him play where he just cuts it loose, and he is a force. And I think that him going back, getting that work, getting all that work that he got, the communication between him and Van Der Esch I thought was really good during the game. And he kind of got better as he got better as a player. You take a week off, you kind of catch your breath, you're thinking like, oh man, I didn't think I was ever going to play football again, to now I'm playing football again. And so I think that all bodes very, very well for him to kind of sit down. They get to work with him a little further. I promise you in that Bears game, he didn't get any practice that week to play linebacker. He's probably was doing a lot of scout team stuff and maybe 1 or 2 reps. But now that if you get a full complement of that, knowing that Barr's probably not going to play, that can only help him going forward in this game.
Yeah, and if you go back and look, of all the highlights that you can have of Micah Parsons, none of them's coming from that Week 1 game his rookie year against the Bucs. Mm-hmm. Like that was not a good game for him. He looked lost, might have been the word.
Right.
He even said it. But he picked it up and he did all right. Figured it out. And so that's what I'm saying. From that position, especially with no practice time. Yeah.
Do you think part of? Go ahead, Amber.
I was just gonna say, speaking to that point, you look at what Dan Quinn has done overall, and I feel that with even like the young guys, free agents, everybody coming in, he's done such a good job at like communication and just like, even though it might take a few games, you see someone maybe not be as perfect as they need to be, but compared to when, oh my God, what's his name? The previous defensive coordinator? No,
Mike Nolan.
Mike Nolan. Yeah. Mike Nolan. I mean, going back to what that looked like, everybody just was all over the place. They didn't know what they were doing. The communication wasn't there. It's so impressive to see these younger players coming in and playing like true professional, I think. And yes, they're not going to be absolutely perfect because they're kind of breaking into the game and all that. But the communication part of it, I think it's been pretty impressive to me in the short amount of time given to these players, the way that they've been able to come in, plug in players, and play right away.
All right, based on, and this is actually a question we got from a fan, Cody Cook, based on what you guys have seen from Damone Clark, or even if you're going back to what he was in college, what can he add to this defense that maybe they don't have when Anthony Barr's in there?
Let me address that because I know him from my days at LSU, and I've cheerleaded for him. Not just because he's an LSU player, but he's a physical specimen when you watch him play. His ability to cover, his ability to play downhill and tackle. He's a physical player. He's a leader. People gravitate towards him. He's always around the football. He can create turnovers and stuff like that. They stole a guy. They really stole a guy. This is a bottom of the first round, top of the second round type of a player if he's completely healthy. He's a guy that could go play on any NFL team. Because of his length, his ability to the power he plays with and stuff like that. So with teams taking him off the board, that did the Cowboys a favor right there. So what you can have is when teams are going to try and run the ball and be physical, and I think it's going to happen this week. When teams want to run the ball downhill, the toss sweeps, the things like that, you see he has the ability to play off blocks and make tackles at the point of attack and not get driven back or not get driven off his spot or not knocked into back. So now there's a cut made and there's an even bigger play. He's got excellent vision. He sees the field very, very well, but he's a guy that never comes off the field. He's one of those the 3-down linebackers. You don't have to sub him out in coverage. You don't, because he understands how to play coverage. He understands where he needs to be, and he's going to do a good job of getting there if he can. Football is very, very important to him. From everything I've talked to people at LSU about, he loves to play the game. He loves to be a part of it. He loves to be a part of the action. He can give you that guy. You got Micah that can do all these great things. Well, this is a guy that kind of does it over here at another position. Yeah, it's a linebacker, but yeah, it's still he can do everything you want an outstanding defensive player to do during a game.
The fact that he's got the speed to run with Justin Fields. I mean, that there was a highlight there in that game that he was basically he caught him from the side. I mean, that was impressive. But also, that player that does that also can play in a violent way. Yeah. And he's not about the BS. He's not. He is a guy that has a briefcase, comes in, he takes his notes, he's ready to play, and he's got that business-like approach.
Mm-hmm.
Very important to him. How he plays is very important to him. And I mentioned this before. LSU, when the couple of years there after the national championship season, they were really struggling for defensive identity. They were struggling for players that were going to step up and make plays. And on a team that was always struggling to be 500, he was the one guy that you never had to worry about on defense. Everybody else, I mean, the corners, you were worrying about guys. You never had to worry about number 18 on that field because you knew that he was going to play hard every single snap regardless of the situation.
Who are you worried about this weekend? Are you worried about any of your guys this weekend? LSU guys?
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm worried about – I told you this before. I know you kind of just brushed it off. I've seen my dreams die at Fayetteville before. I've seen them die. I
saw mine die last weekend too, so whatever.
So Liberty's not a bad team.
Not a bad team.
No, but that's
it's not a team you thought would beat you, right?
Shouldn't lose. Yeah. Should not lose at home.
But that's the SEC is as we say, a strange lady too.
Yeah. Football.
Football's a strange lady.
Yeah. Football. All right, let's talk a little bit. I know that you look at the injury report for the Packers, and it is a mash unit over there.
Yeah.
One stuck out to me. One player that has not practiced for them this week, cornerback Eric Stokes. How much does that affect their defense if he's not playing? Because you also have Rasul Douglas, who's another one of their linebackers who's been limited all week in practice.
Yeah, I think the Stokes one is an out, and Douglas is going to have to take his place in this one. And so that to me is that's a green light right there.
Was Douglas the one that had the quote? He's the one that said, "We suck because we suck."
I don't know. That's a good quote, though.
It's a good quote.
No, there's a quote. Yeah, they asked him what's going on, and he's like, "We suck because we suck."
Yeah,
that's very interesting. It's fair, but fair. It's a little alarming.
It kind of tells the story.
Yeah.
The thing about the Packers 2 days ago when we were broadcasting then. They had that really long list. It looked like a CVS. When you get a list from, you get the receipt from CVS, and you wonder what are we doing?
Yeah, you just killed two trees. In the forest.
Sequoia just got eliminated.
One item. One item. Literally.
I just bought mouthwash here. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't.
I can't imagine what happens if you do a return.
Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, it looked like a receipt from CVS there. And, but the first day that they practiced, they do walkthrough. They're a walkthrough team. So when they do the walkthrough thing, that they put everybody on that list. I learned that. I was kind of like, I was talking to my guys up there. I go, hey, what's up with this, man? Your team looks like, how do you practice when you're down 17 guys? It's a walkthrough. Oh, okay. So yesterday, I think there were 4 that were key to this whole thing. So then the next day they all practiced. So but the whole thing with I think Stokes has played well for them, and I know that it's hard to say, but when you talk about pass defense and stuff, that is a little bit of a strength that they have. But I would green light this thing on Douglas. On Rasul Douglas. To me, I'm staying away from Alexander the much as I can. And I'm very mindful of routes even in his vicinity, because what we talked about the other day was him coming off coverages, just naturally saying, oh, I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to run a route in front of me while carry another guy deep. I'm just going to jump this route. And so Dak has to be very mindful of that. Just don't throw to an area thinking that Alexander might not be in that area.
He did say that yesterday in his press conference. Dak, he said that, one thing about them is they're very good at making it look like man when it's really zone, or zone and it's man. They kind of can go back and forth with that, and that's kind of what you're talking about as a freelancer type guy.
Yeah, somebody that just naturally is a really good football player and reads it. We've seen a little bit of that from Diggs.
Yeah.
Diggs will drop off. He kind of feels like, oh, wait, they're carrying me deep to try and get me out of here. But, oh, look at this crosser. Oh, I need to try and step forward and make that play. And that's what you get a little bit with Alexander.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Mike McCarthy. He was asked earlier this week about his time in Green Bay and his exit from Green Bay and got a little emotional. I want to know how much you guys like that, don't like that, and what is there an advantage maybe that he would having been the coach of Aaron Rodgers specifically for so many years and then going against him? We'll talk about that when we come back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour comes to AT&T Stadium for 2 nights on April 1st and 2nd, 2023. Tickets go on sale Friday, November 18th, but you can sign up for the Taylor Swift Tix presale powered by Verified Fan today at taylorswift.com/events.
Welcome back. Second segment of the break, live from SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. This segment is presented to you by blockchain.com. All right, let's talk about Mike McCarthy. This week, I think it was on. What?
This is completely unrelated.
Yeah.
I just thought of it.
Thug life?
Shut
Oh
up.
gosh.
No.
Going?
The event just brought me back other things, other events, and I was thinking about WrestleMania and how you told us you were gonna bring some wrestler over here, and it never happened.
Did I say I was gonna bring some wrestler over here?
Did he not?
I don't.
He said we might do something, and then we kind of voiced who our guy would be.
Oh yeah. And
Roman Reigns, by
yeah.
the way.
we
But it
said
never
we might.
happened.
It never happened.
Yeah,
they
just
didn't.
like Bad Bunny played at AT&T.
You went to Bad Bunny, didn't you?
But did I meet him? No. So, we got to work better on these events that we have at AT&T Stadium where we get to do a few more things.
I don't think they're going to work it in the contract where you get to meet Bad Bunny. I don't think that gets put in the contract, but
you
got
never
to
know.
go. You got to enjoy it.
Yeah, it was good.
Did a little
It was
dancing and
amazing.
everything. Singing.
Anyways, back to McCarthy and Green Bay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Let me ask you guys a question then real quick. For this game, more important to win, Mike McCarthy or Aaron Rodgers?
McCarthy. Aaron Rodgers didn't get spurned. I mean, think about it like this. When you're in a situation
People
where
say Aaron Rodgers was the reason why Mike McCarthy no longer has his job.
I mean, Mike McCarthy, earlier this week when he was asked about it and he got emotional, what he was talking about was the fact that his family, that's where they were from.
Yeah.
Like, his kids were born there.
Yeah.
I mean, and so to feel like your family, because that's what it was, they had a sense of family there. To feel like your family basically said, you're not good enough, you got to go, that's got to hurt a little bit. I mean, for me, it would. And so I think it probably matters more for Mike McCarthy to go back and be able to, I mean, this doesn't change anything, obviously, but just to be able to show, I still got it. I think that means something to him. I don't know that it matters as much like that.
Yeah, I don't, because when Aaron Rodgers stops playing for the Packers, I don't think he's going to live in Green Bay. I don't think he's going to care who the quarterback is and how much success they're having. I mean, he got fired, was there. He said he was rehabbing his knee injury right next to Lambeau Field as the Packers are winning. They're going to the playoffs, and they're having success. And not Super Bowl success, but they had success. It was like, I see. See, that's why you could, and it all was like justifying of why they let him go, and so he had.
And
to
he's
deal with
listening
that.
to all that. His family's listening to all that.
kids.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, it matters.
That's a mental toll.
And it showed. I mean, that question was, "What do you like about Green Bay?" And
Yeah.
he lost it, and I do like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's real. He's a real person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. The last guy we had up there, he's a real person too. Like Jason Garrett. Now on the podium, he's not, but he is. I mean, he's a real person.
We're all real person.
But
But I get what you're saying.
I made him cry one time. I said something to him. He started crying.
Did you hug him?
I don't think so.
Come
but
on, Nick.
I think it was when
Anytime
his
you're
dad
talking to
passed.
someone.
his dad passed, and I talked. Yeah.
Hug him.
He was at the training table. He was about to get his food. Still dealing with COVID. You don't touch people, so I didn't do that. But my point is that sometimes it's okay for I think it's okay for these guys to let their guard down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're looking at me for my answer. I mean, is there anything that Rodgers really cares about? Like, that's
No,
Wow.
but
I'm just saying.
he's
No,
that-
I get what you're
but
saying.
he's that
definitely has
petty.
that attitude.
He's that petty though.
Double checks.
Yeah.
Discount double check.
No,
Probably
I
cares
think
about that check.
About that check.
Yeah.
I could see Aaron Rodgers carrying to the point where it's like and there's a lot of people will tell you in Green Bay that he was the reason why Mike McCarthy no longer has a job up there. And to know that McCarthy would come back and get the best of him, I think would be something that would bother him. I think it would. His team's playing not very well. We all know that. We all see that. But this is one of those times where Aaron Rodgers, people up there again talking to him, and my experience of working up there for 5 years, so you make a lot of relationships. And there's people up there that are like talking about Aaron Rodgers in a way of like, he doesn't really care about anything. He doesn't care about this, care about that. We can't make him happy. We can't do this, can't do that. Maybe it's time to move on, kind of a thing. But they were adamant about, like, they were saying, what a bunch of BS, Mike and Aaron, these pleasantries that they're talking about.
That wasn't the reality?
That's not the reality. You say the right things and things like that, and you mean a lot and this, that, and the other. But deep down inside, I think why Mike got emotional is because of just what you talked about. His life was Green Bay. Wisconsin. Maybe not the Packers, but everything good in his life that he believes in at 59 years old is his family, and that all started in Green Bay. That opportunity, that was his first head coaching job. He got that opportunity up there. And, and for a guy to take that away from him, they could say all they want about, oh, a great guy and hug it out and all this stuff like that. There is a real sense of, I'm going to get you, you SOB, for this one.
They're winning this game. I mean, I'm not jumping to the final
stage. As in Cowboys?
Cowboys,
okay. Right.
of course. Yes, they are winning. Yes,
okay.
Yes, definitely, of course. I think this is a game.
No, go ahead. I got a point to make about what he's saying, but yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're already interrupting my train of thought.
Nope.
As Americans say.
Go.
My train is gone. Go ahead.
Left the station.
You left.
There's
gone.
a tour going by too, though, and there's like this small little baby, as you say, SOB, and I was just like, do we have speakers out there? That's not what I was saying, though. Go ahead.
My train departed for that.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's not what it was. What I was going to say is earlier this week, you said something about he's not as good as he once was, and I started laughing because I was thinking, you don't probably listen to Toby Keith, I would imagine.
Who?
Toby Keith.
There's a song about that,
Isn't
right?
that the Oklahoma fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he has a song that says, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And it's not really talking about football. It's talking about other stuff.
About being 50.
Yeah. But basically what it is like, I'm going to have to be great all the time.
Yeah.
But I can be great
one time.
Yeah.
See, that's what
give me one shot.
And that's what he's talking about. And there's something to that.
Yeah,
for sure.
This is what totally scares me about this game, that everybody that I trust, the evaluators, guys and gals, and everybody, saying, oh, Packers have this issue, that issue. And I'm like, they still got that guy playing quarterback. I've seen him rip my heart out before. With the way that he plays. And so that's the thing that bothers me. Even with the Packer guys like, you guys are a better team. You're a better team. You're a better team. You're playing better right now. Your locker room's better. You're not hurt, all this, that, and the other. And you're still sitting there thinking, though, when it's over, if the Packers win, they're going to go, man, that was a tough game. That was, and I'm going to think, yeah, there's that quarterback again.
I just feel they've had a lot of close games. Cowboys versus Packers.
Yeah.
We have not played them with this kind of defense. I think the amount of pressure you can get from the Cowboys defense can be enough to keep him put, as long as your offense is scoring enough points. It's similar to what we saw with the Eagles earlier. You could have won that game had your offense they kind of stepped it up a little bit.
The turnovers hurt bad.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Rodgers have not had to run away from Micah. Rodgers had not had to run away with the amount of force and pressure that this defense does. And the way that he's playing this year, I think you can definitely take a lot of advantage and just make him cry a little bit. Yeah. You go home, you talk about this game being like a lot of emotions involved. I mean, I think you can embarrass him.
So how much do you guys think it matters? I know we talk a lot about players that go back to play their old team and they know that their former team. I don't know if I put as much stock in that. But when it's a coach, the coach knows, because every player has strengths and weaknesses. The coach knows intimately what those strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah.
How much of an advantage do you think it is the Cowboys have with Mike McCarthy knowing Aaron Rodgers for so many years?
I think it absolutely helps. I think it, but that guy he's had a career playing off script, I mean, when you feel like, and some of the, again, talking to people up there, some of the problems that he has is that this current coach wants him to play underneath center. He wants the play action game. He wants the movements. He wants the motions. That's what the head coach wants. Rodgers is like, when he came out, remember a couple weeks ago, he talked about we need to simplify things. Simplify things to Aaron Rodgers is getting a shotgun and let me just do what I need to do. Let me throw the ball. Let me throw the screens. Let me throw the underneath shallow crosses. Let me throw the ball down the field. Let me manipulate the pocket with a little movement here and there. That's the issues that they're having right now in Green Bay. That to me, that there's a real disconnect between the head coach and what the quarterback wants to do at this point in time in his career. So Mike McCarthy could offer a suggestion to Dan Quinn about, well, hey, think about when you're attacking him, think about this, think about that. But I wonder how much it really applies to today's football for the Packers if, in fact, the coach wants to do this and the player wants to do that.
Yeah,
true. I probably some tendencies, 2-minute offense. He likes to do this. I know this. He'll always want first down. He's always going to try to throw a screen. It's just little things that he's seen because they've been in those huddles. Yeah. I bet you there's some things that haven't changed that much with what Aaron
hard
wants
count,
to do.
Trap you with 12 men on the field. Certain situations like that. Yeah.
And sometimes it can even be a mind game from the standpoint that the player knows that the coach knows. So he tries to alter some of the things that maybe he thinks the coach knows. Good. And in doing that, he gets away from the things that makes him great, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of things I think that can be kind of factored into that may be able to make a difference.
I think she's got the right point, though. He's never faced the Cowboys with Micah Parsons, with throwing it up with Trayvon Diggs. One of the best receivers on the field is actually playing cornerback for the Cowboys, and also the Dan Quinn defense and getting after him that way. So this is not something that he's experienced. Even this year, I don't think he's faced. I don't know all the teams they faced, but I think the Cowboys have one of the best defenses, if not the best.
You made a really good point yesterday about how much do you really fear these wide receivers if you're the Cowboys secondary?
I don't.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. It's not like you're playing Hill or Jefferson. You'll get Jefferson next week, but you're not playing Brown in Philadelphia. You're not playing elite level receivers. You're playing receivers that are good, but you can cover these guys. But the thing that worries me is I think the great equalizer for this offense for the Packers is Aaron Jones. That's the thing that scares me in this game, because the one time when you needed to make a play to get off the field against Philadelphia, they ran the ball 10 straight times, and you couldn't answer that. That's the thing that scares me. Are we going to get into a game where all of a sudden it turns into downhill run, inside run, downhill run, play action pass to Tunyon, the tight end, downhill run? That's where I worry. And then to Ambar's point, okay, can you answer that? Is it going to be? It used to be with Aaron Rodgers is they would drive 7-0, you'd come back 3 and out, they drive again, it's 14-0, and now you're down. Now you're down, and your offense is a little bit out of whack. Yeah. They haven't done that as well. But they drove the ball really well against the Lions on the first drive. He just threw an interception.
Yep.
They've moved the ball on the Lions. They had turnovers along the way.
Well, I'll tell you this: you guys have convinced me that Hankins improved the run defense when he was in there in the last game. You've convinced me today, Brian, that that Damone Clark is a guy that can be a beast for them.
He can. He really can.
In the middle, and certainly can help the run game. Those things being said, I don't expect to see what I saw earlier this year.
Right.
My expectation is they should be better at run defense at this point in the year, and I don't expect to see that the rest of the season. I don't expect to see a team be able to just line up and say, we're just going to run the ball at the Cowboys and do it successfully.
I think, the first game of the season, Tampa Bay, they ran the ball pretty well in that game. But most of the time, especially the Eagles, I think, and even the Bears, I think that the teams that are giving them the most problems running the ball is with the running quarterbacks. Not only do they affect the yards, but they also, with the play action and the fakes, they also affect the runners as well. The Bears runners had success. Eagles obviously did. Even Barkley, and I consider Daniel Jones a running quarterback because they do RPOs with him. So I don't think they're going to do that with Rodgers. Rodgers will run if it's there.
Right.
But he's still mobile like that. But I think that the rushing yards are happening when it's the mobile quarterbacks and that whole running game. And it's unfortunate the Cowboys could not get off the field, But I don't think if they're down by 4 and they've got the ball and they've got to get off the field, I don't think it's the same type of offense because you're not going to be worried about him running. You're going to be worried about the running game, running backs, get him off the field, knock him down.
All right, let's take our final break, come back, get some fan questions. We'll be right back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
This sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant at the Star in Frisco every Friday and Saturday night from November 18th through December 17th. The show is free and open to the public. Visit thestardistrict.com/Christmas for more information.
Welcome back. Final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. It's time for us to get some questions before we get to our predictions. Let's start first with a question from Brandon Laurie. His question is, how will Tyler Smith perform against someone like Preston Smith?
I think he'll be fine. The thing that Preston Smith, that he's a little bit similar to what you have with when you look at Tank and a guy like Golston that's long, has the ability to rush the passer, but also is a really good run defender. And so what you have to be careful about with him is that when the ball is coming behind you, that if it's those reach blocks where it's going to be to the outside off his left shoulder, that he has to be ready of don't get flattened out. You've got to get some push there. You got to get him turned. You got to get him pinned inside. But where Preston Smith can be hard on you is his ability to extend and keep that outside shoulder free. And when he keeps the outside shoulder free, it makes it hard for the ball to get to the outside of him. Or he's like, usually when you get guys that get pinned, that ball gets to the corner, and now you have the back has an idea where he needs to go with the ball. And Preston does a really good job of extending and then getting rid of and then making plays right there. He can also redirect. So long guy that can redirect, really good run defender, and a capable pass blocker. He's going to get a guy that's really a complete defensive end against him.
All right, let's go on to the next question. This question has dominated the headlines this week. But Joby Ginzer asked, what's the chances, if you guys had to kind of percentage-wise, what's the chances Odell Beckham Jr. ends up signing with the Dallas Cowboys?
I keep going back and forth. I don't want to get extremely overly excited because I go back to, for example, Earl Thomas, when that whole conversation, different situation, different players, different position and all that. But it reminds me of that when we heard it voiced by people from the organization, like somewhat an interest there. And then it dragged out. And it never actually happened. So I could definitely see it happening, but at the same time, I could see it not happening and it not working out for the Cowboys. So I would like to give you an answer here, but I'm just like kind of seeing both sides of things, both ways.
That's it for me, too. It's 50-50. If I have to give a percentage, I think there's 50% chance that it happens, mainly because they really want to. I think he really wants to come here, and I think it makes sense and all that. My other 50% is the fact that we've seen this before, and I just can't kind of wrap my head around the fact that Odell Beckham would be playing for the Dallas Cowboys. I just can't. I just can't see it. I can't see it happening because it's just that would just be surreal.
Did you see T.O. playing here before he got here?
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Same
and
thing, right?
Same thing. Randy Moss too, though. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy that caught the pass over Brandon Carr. He's not the guy that's going to end up playing for the Cowboys. But it's all there. It's all there for the table. I mean, I just don't have a good answer. I just think it's 50-50.
Yeah, I would go a little bit more. I'm going to go in like 70% chance there, and then I'll say San Francisco with 20, and then maybe the Giants or somebody like that, the Buffalo with 10, But I think the Cowboys. I've said it yesterday. This is celebrity receivers who this is, and they've done a great job, I think, recruiting him. We don't know what they're also doing behind the scenes. This is going to be a matter of the Cowboys being creative with a contract, and can they make it to where, okay, for this month that we're going to use you, or 2 months we're going to use you, is it are we going to get out of it what we need, and then going forward, are you going to get what you need out of this? So, I think the desire is there for the parties. I just think that there's going to have to be some creativity, and I think the doctors are going to have to sign off on this thing. That could derail this whole thing. Yeah. The doctors could say, listen, this knee it was a good repair, but he's not ready to play right now.
I think there's from his standpoint, and now you're talking about from a team standpoint, it's got to work money-wise as well. From his standpoint, I think there's 5 things for him that really matter, and I don't know the order. Money is one of them. The contract, the guarantees, and all that stuff. That's one. 2, the team. Like, are they ready to win? Can they win? I'm not looking to go and rebuild anywhere. 3, can I play? Am I going to get on the field and play? 4, again, this is not in order. 4, the weather. 5, grass. And the Cowboys can't give them all of that.
Grass being the main
Can't
one.
give them grass.
You forgot to add lights, camera, action, headlines. I mean, when he's the type of player, you talk about a celebrity player. He's that kind of player that likes to be, the center of attention type of guy, to appear on TV, cameras, and interviews, or say things like that. And
you're right.
You get a lot of spotlight wearing
no
that
doubt.
star right there on the helmet.
You're right. There's no doubt about that. He does. Did it go away when he went to Cleveland, though? I don't think it did. So I think it feels like
it didn't really work in Cleveland, though, did it?
Well, it didn't work for those other reasons. But
I'm saying, but maybe that's a part of it too. Like
he was right about Baker Mayfield.
It didn't fit right.
He was right about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
about the problems they had, with throwing the ball and stuff up there with the quarterback.
Baker Mayfield can't get on the field last night.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but
did you see the end of the game?
No, I did not.
Him headbutting his teammates as they were coming off field in their helmets, and he's got on a ball cap. He's just so extra. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, he's in the protocol.
But
now.
I think
next week.
Exactly. He's out this week. I think Nick is right about the order, the demands or whatever you want to call them. The requirements. Yeah. I just feel like, though, to me, this is one of those things that this guy was born to play for the Dallas Cowboys. I know he was drafted by the Giants. He played for the.
It just fits, right?
It's a fit. Yeah. It's a fit, and if the fact that even I was interested to see what CeeDee Lamb was going to say yesterday, as far as because Michael Gallup was on the NFL Network yesterday when we were on the radio. These guys were talking very positively, and I think that just shows you where you're at right now. CeeDee Lamb could be very much like, man, bro, I'm just trying to get myself squared up to beat the Packers. He was very confident. Well, that's my boy. That's my guy. I think everybody has taken the approach of this guy could help us win, and that's with Beckham. That's really what it's about with him. He wants to win. He could be this diva appearance and all that. But the bottom line is all he's ever wanted to do is win. And whoever gives him that best opportunity, I think, and the Cowboys do. I think the Cowboys have got a great shot. You just look at where the NFC is right now, the conference. They got just as good a shot.
The only hole they really got. I mean, if you want to look at this team holistically, the only area where you look at it and you're like, I just don't know, is that wide receiver position.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get some predictions. What do we think is going to happen this Sunday, Cowboys versus Packers? Amber, let's start with you.
I think the Cowboys definitely win this game. Yeah. The only thing that I have in my mind that concerns me somewhat is, one, weather. And two, yes. And two, just penalties. And I mentioned it on yesterday's show, just
Brad Allen,
it not
your
going
official, yeah.
their way, the Cowboys' way. That's about it. I think this team has what's necessary to beat a team like the Packers currently are right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not concerned about Aaron Rodgers. I think the defense can handle him and will take care of business down there. Or up there. Cowboys win. I have something like 37-17. Pretty. That seems too wild.
Wow.
That's pretty wild. You know what? Let's bring it down a notch. Let's make it 30-17. That's still that's pretty good. But let's
good win.
Put it, 30-17 Cowboys.
Brian.
I'm going to go. This game does terrify me because even the Packer people I know are saying that they're not very good. And I hate that. I hate that when, guys and gals I trust that say, we're just not playing well enough. And, at the end of the day, they might be right. This team, I just can't believe this team would lose 6 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they are. And I think the Cowboys are, they're getting their quarterback back. We'll figure out the defensive stuff. I think it's going to be a will of who can stop who from running the ball. I just don't think either. I don't think either offense wants to get in a situation where they're having to just throw the ball a ton in this game. I do have a little bit of a higher score for a running game, but I think it might play out this way. I went Dallas 26, Packers 23.
Yeah, I've got a close game as well. I think that Green Bay can. I think they're going to give everything they have. Yeah. Everything they have in this one, and that's what happens when you bring the star. Usually, I mean that happens, especially in a game like this. I think the Cowboys are better. I think I think it's going to be an interesting game. Some weird things are going to happen. Weird plays they usually do. I've got Dallas winning 21-19.
All right, and I actually don't think. I think this is going to be a game where the Cowboys are going to get a firm lead on this one, and I don't think this is the kind of team. Mainly because of the quarterback. I don't think this is the kind of team where we've seen this in the past where Cowboys get a lead and the team's like, we're still going to run the ball. You're not going to get us out of the run. I don't think that'll happen with this team. I think they're going to be like, okay, well, let's start passing, and that's when I think this defense will be able to feast. They haven't been able to feast in a while because most teams just won't do it. I think Green Bay will. I think Green Bay will give them opportunities, and I think this defense is going to feast on that. I think Cowboys end up winning 33-23 in a game that's pretty comfortable win for the Cowboys, relatively speaking. All right. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back on Monday. We'll tell you what went right and wrong for the Cowboys. Till then, for Nate Geekman, Brian Broaddus, Amber Garcia, I am Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio. Hook 'em.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.